Hello, and welcome back to the Spoilercast, the greatest podcast of all time. I'm just trying to change up the intro there for the new year, even though this is not the first episode, but whatever.
This is a special episode.
This is a special episode, yes. Welcome to this very special episode of the Spoilercast, because now it is time, once again, to prepare for the award season.
Yes.
And what is more important than the spoiler awards?
Obviously.
You thought we were going to say the Oscars, huh? Well, fuck the Oscars. We have our own award show. It's called the Spoiler Awards, where we get to nominate all the movies we like, and not just let the fucking, the people with the money decide.
The muffin baskets and gift baskets and stuff.
The swag bags. No. There's no politics in here. It's just favoritism. Our favorites.
Yes.
And yours a little bit. We'll talk more about that. But yeah, so this is our episode where we reveal the nominations for this year's Spoiler Awards. Everything from Best Movie to Best Stunt and everything in between.
We have a few new categories this year.
A couple of new ones, yeah. We kind of, new for us, but not really new.
Yes, new for us. Not new, but...
No.
Well, we do have one
new.
That is very new for everything, I think.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're just going to go through them. And like we said, we're going to have we had last year, we're going to have a People's Choice Award, but we don't really have any nominations for that yet because we're going to need your help with that. But we'll talk more about that later. So, we're going to... Oh, yeah, sorry?
No, we'll just get into it, I think.
Yeah.
And we're going to start with our favorite award, I think.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Because it's the most fun.
Yes.
It's Worst Movie of the Year.
Yeah. Very
nominations.
Easy. Yeah, very easy to explain. It's the worst movies of 2024. Yeah.
The ones we disliked the most.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or liked the least, I suppose.
No, this year it's the ones we hated the most.
That is true. And the nominations are Imaginary.
For obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm. The Crow.
Yeah, for shitting on the legacy of The Crow and Brandon Lee.
Yes. The Watchers.
For being a fucking mess.
For messing up the third act. Red One. For being a sellout, cop-out, anything, all things bad with Hollywood.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Alien Romulus.
For just continually ruining the Alien franchise.
Yes.
A franchise that has been bankrupt since 1979, basically.
Yes. Disclaimer, we're going to try and steamroll through these nominations a little bit. We're not going to talk too much about them.
No. We're gonna try.
We're going to try.
But that's the worst movie of the year nominations, yeah.
Yes. Next up
is a new category for this year. These are probably the movies that we liked the least, more than hated the most.
Exactly, that's true.
Yeah, it's the biggest disappointments of the year. And there we have Long Legs, big disappointment. It was such a weird movie to watch after all that hype. Same thing with number 2, which was Furiosa.
Yeah, the hype was really
it was
valid.
Insane. Yeah,
It ruined the movie.
I don't care what people say. That movie wasn't that good. It was good, but it was nowhere near as good as the last one. Number 3, Maxine.
We had our mindset on what we expected. And this
one of the best movies... one of the best movies of 2022, I think it was.
Yeah, I think so.
Pearl, to follow up with Maxine. I mean, it's a good movie, but yeah, it's a classic Curse of the Trilogy capper.
Yes.
The third one is always the worst. Number 4, Dream Scenario.
Yes.
Based on
the concept.
The concept, the actor, the director. It fell a little bit flat.
Yes.
And last but not least, Poor Things, basically for the same reasons. The actors, the director.
The visuals.
Yeah, but to have such a dog shit script.
Yeah.
And
everyone else just hyping it up. And it's just not making sense.
Don't get it. I don't get it.
No.
Still a okay movie, but no.
Not the way we expected or wanted it to be.
No. And here come the two new categories two new categories for us. They're kind of hard. It's going to be kind of hard to explain since we can't really. I mean, we could show visuals for one of them, but the other one we can't really play any clips because we're going to get copyright stricken.
Yeah, and also, I mean, watch the movies, I guess.
Yeah. I'll see if I can.
Most of these movies are actually good as well, so.
Yeah, and I can see. I'll see if I can squeeze in some little snippets of music
snippets.
Yeah, because the first new category is.
It's best score / music.
Yeah.
We're keeping it vague in that sentence.
Yes, because
we're not going to differentiate.
No, exactly.
So, first nominee is Twisters,
which I think is the one reason why we have music on the list.
Yes,
because that score is almost all songs.
Pure songs.
But they
Some
are
of them
written
written
for the movie.
Yeah. Not all of them.
Most of them.
But not all of them, apparently.
But that is
next up,
sorry.
We have Dune Chapter 2.
Once again, for obvious reasons. And we're not gonna bully Hans Zimmer like the Academy did and say, no, you used too much of the last movie's music.
There's a point
it's the same
to
movie.
It.
There's a point.
It's part 2. It's continuation. It's not even the sequel. It's like the second part of the movie. It's just one big movie, really.
Yeah.
Next up, nomination number 3 is Joker for Leo Deux.
Yep.
It had some great music.
It has some great music. Once again, Hildur Guðnadóttir coming back with the cello. And also, like Quentin Tarantino said, and I agree, their version of Once in My Life is
yes,
I think better than an original. Sorry. Anyway.
Next up is Megalopolis.
Yeah.
Just being so
dreamy.
I don't even know how to describe it.
It's dreamlike.
Yeah.
And they have a lot.
I
they have lots
of
of
dreamy, but
dreamy too. And they have so many saxophone solos, which is awesome.
Yes.
And also I think it's maybe you didn't like the movie, but listen to the music.
Yeah.
Like compare that music to most other scores nowadays. Like compare it to, I don't want to shit too much on it, but Furiosa, which Fury Road had an amazing score, and the same guy, Junkie XL, did the score for Furiosa, but all it is sounds. Megalopolis has it's like an opera or like a symphony almost. Anyway, sorry.
Last but not least, we have The Substance.
Yes, which has this like pounding like techno score.
Yes.
With like horror movie music, peppered in. It's amazing.
Yes, it was really.
It works so well with the movie.
Exactly, it fit perfectly.
And then our next new category is Best Costume.
Yes.
And our first nomination is for one of the biggest disappointments of the year. But like we said, the visuals and the costumes are part of that was very good. It was Poor Things. Yes. Amazing costumes.
It's pure haute couture, I think, the entire movie, which is incredible. It's a shame it was wasted on that movie.
Almost like a fantasy twist, sort of. Yeah.
I think actually every piece is technically haute couture because it is handmade.
Oh, I don't know exactly what I mean, but you know that stuff. I think
I read that somewhere. I'm not entirely sure.
Number 2, one of the worst movies of the year. It was on our list.
No, I don't think we actually nominated it for that.
Oh, it's not on the list, but it's still one of the worst movies of the year. Wicked.
Yes.
Can't deny, though, the costumes are great.
The costumes are great.
Even
the dresses.
Even though it's CGI, that end shot of her with the big cape, oh my god.
I mean, the base dress is...
Yeah, exactly.
They just extended the cape.
Yeah. Then we have the third one, which could be one of the biggest disappointments of the year, but we haven't really had the time to discuss it yet.
No.
So we don't want to give away too much. But our third nomination for Best Costume is Nosferatu. Pitch perfect. Everything looks so fucking good. And the fact that they've
perfectly on theme.
Yeah, that they've picked colors.
Yes.
To they're not these super lavish colors, which they should be, but instead they're like muted to fit the tone of the movie.
Yes.
And the tone of like almost making the movie black and white.
Yes.
Genius. Number 4, Furiosa for obvious reasons. The fucking over the top like steampunk action desert punk shit. It's just so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Everything looks awesome. There's no denying that. Come on. And then we had one where you nominated it, and I wasn't really sure, but when you explained it, it made sense.
Yes.
It's number 5 is Immaculate. Because I was like,
yes,
just a bunch of nun robes.
Specific costume.
Yes. And that's the...
And it's for her...
her Immaculate...
I don't even know what you call it. Yeah.
Wedding dress?
The, like, Mary Shroud, I guess?
Yeah. The Virgin Mary Shroud.
Yeah.
Which just...
The details on that one is just amazing.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I think it's hand-stitched as well.
Yes.
The embroidery and the pearls and stuff.
But
so
also...
pretty.
How it fits into the story, the fact that it's supposed to be this like chaste, pure-looking thing, but we know it signifies something very dirty and bad.
Yeah, and the visual it added with her, like her in it, the way she reacts to it.
She's like crying while God rays are coming down on her.
Exactly. It's immaculate.
It's immaculate. Yeah. Then we have one of our own categories.
Creations, yes. Yeah. Which is a little bit hard to describe sometimes, but it is the best movie moment.
One of those moments in the movie where you're like,
yeah.
It doesn't have to be the best movie, but it's just like, whoa.
That moment either gave you goosebumps, made your jaw drop, could make you cried, it could make you terrified or like sick to your stomach.
We have all that.
That one moment that stuck with you maybe months after you saw the movie.
Yeah.
Which is the truth.
For some of these. Almost all of these. Yeah.
And the nominations are Riding the Shai Hulud.
Shai Hulud.
In Dune 2.
First time Timothée Chalamet gets up on the sandworm.
What's his character's name? I was about to say Peter, but that's
not Paul Atreides.
Paul. Yes.
Muad'Dib. I mean, if you saw it in IMAX, you know why. The theater literally shook.
Yeah. Ooh, it's majestic.
Yes.
The second nominee is the final match from the challenge. It's just challengers, not
challengers.
Challengers, which you just described before we started recording as in like the most climactic scene in the entire movie. In an almost sexual way, or an actual sexual way.
Yeah, the movie plays a lot on like relationships and sexual tensions and all that, but we never see anyone actually have sex in the movie. So the movie's almost like blue-balling you the entire time. They're like edging you, and then you have that fucking violent release because the tennis matches are kind of like the sex scenes in the movie.
Yes,
and this one is the most like hectic. I mean, the way it's shot with the POV shots from the ball and all that, and the fact that they literally embrace
literally on the edge of her seat and like
it is, and the pulse pounding music. I just think it was an amazing scene to end the movie on. Anywho,
the third nomination is The Birth from Immaculate,
which is also an ending.
Which yes, but it had literally had our jaws on the floor, disgusted, but could not look away kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was shook to my core, and I think I said after that I don't think I ever want to give birth just because of that scene. Yeah.
It's like an uncut 3-minute take of just what's her name? Sydney Sweeney's face.
Yeah.
As we only see her face and we hear things as she's giving birth in the woods.
I think
And then, other stuff happening. But we won't give it away because this is the ending. It is insane.
Yes.
Giving it away a little bit here. She could almost have got a nomination for just that scene, but you gotta be throughout the movie better. So whatever.
Exactly. Sorry. Nomination number 4 is we've named it 2 things because there's one specific part of it, but the entirety of the shower scene in Terrifier 3.
Yes.
Specifically though. The moment when Art the Clown splits the dude in half from balls to mouth, basically.
With a chainsaw. The scene that I described for our dad, and his brain just switched off and he couldn't handle it to the point where he got like angry for me just explaining it.
Well, that is definitely not his kind of movie.
No.
We're never showing him that. But that scene was...
It's insane.
It's insane, and it's so well made, actually, for what it is.
Yeah, it's
For
almost
the kind of gore it is, it's so detailed and well made without, like, apologizing, really.
and it's in a dark way funny.
Yes.
When he just bursts into the shower and she starts screaming. Oh my god.
And the sunglasses and all the details. All the details. Fantastic. And last but not least, one of the earlier movies we saw this year, I think. The taking of the White House, of the Capitol.
Yeah, the storming of the Capitol. Yeah.
The storming of the Capitol, yes. When
basically the final sequence in the movie.
And the reporters finally make their way into the White House.
Yes.
And honestly, just the entire fucking thing of that happening.
Yeah, everything in Washington, D.C. is fucking insane. Yeah.
And it's a long one, but it's so good. It's so well made. I was on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
Like, holding my breath almost.
Because it's so funny, because the whole movie before that, sure, we have some instances of, like, war and shooting and stuff, but it's mainly, people contemplating war, not actually seeing war.
Yeah, so it's like, it's the small things that happen on the side of war.
Yeah. But then
this one felt like
all-out warfare, actually see, that's what they're... I mean, we saw examples of, the horrors of war before that, but to actually see full-on warfare like that, and without it... I mean, it's spectacular, as in an action movie, but it's also horrific, as in an anti-war movie, which Civil War is. It's amazing. Anyway.
Fantastic. That was the Best Movie Moment nominees.
Yeah. Then we have Best Stunts, which is another one where it's one that should be highlighted more in other, I was going to say real awards shows, but we're a real award show. They should just be recognized more in general, I guess. Yeah. And there we have the first one is the world record roll from the Fall Guy. Now, that's not the actual. The actual stunt is just when they flip the car on the beach, the Cybertruck looking thing. Turns out they actually beat the Casino Royale world record flip or roll from 2006, which was eight full rotations. They did 8.5. So you know what? For that alone, that's a nomination.
That is a nomination. Yeah.
Then we have the knife fight from the movie Twilight of the Warriors Walled In, which smaller movie and less known movie, but
in Western media, I suppose.
Yeah. But if you like hand-to-hand combat action movies, karate movies, so to speak, fight movies, check it out.
Hong Kong production.
I think so.
It was.
Yeah.
Hong Kong, Taiwanese. I don't remember.
I think so. There is a fight in it where a guy, a guy's running away from the bad guys, but then he gets cornered by a guy with a knife. He's like, oh shit, what am I supposed to do? So he rips a piece of corrugated metal wall off of the balcony where he is, and crushes it into a knife shape and starts knife fighting with it while they're jumping up and down on balconies.
Yeah.
It is insane.
Insane.
So we had to put it in there.
We had to.
Yeah. Number 3 is the octopus chase or the stowaway chase from Furiosa. We were disappointed. It didn't really deliver, but it's still when the action was good or when there was action, it was great. And the octopus one is when the octo, I don't remember his name, the octopus guy, the flying guy.
Yeah.
He's chasing the Warrig. It's the one where they do the spinning things on the back of the Warrig. That whole sequence is mind-blowing.
Yes.
I'd still say the one in Fury Road is better, but hey!
It's similar to that one in Fury Road, but it is very cool on its own as well.
Yes. Then number 4 is the car fight in Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, I'm not a big fan of that one, but I can't deny that the fight scene inside that little car is insane.
Yes.
And even though
choreography that had to be executed to perfection to make that make sense. Yes. And make it look that funny and cool at the same time.
And I mean, how many movies have actual fight scenes in a car? A small car like that.
That doesn't end up with them actually rolling out after a few punches.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they continue.
Yeah, the whole fight is in that car. And then the last one is kind of a special nomination.
It's a bit of a funny joke.
It's more of a joke nomination. It's Barry Keoghan quitting Gladiator to go star in Bird instead. Barry Keoghan was supposed to, I think he was supposed to have the starring role in Gladiator 2, you know, one of the biggest movies of the year. You know, the $100 million project, you know, the big star-making movie. But he got a chance to have a like second biggest role in an Andrea Arnold movie, second lead in a basically like mini budget British drama called Bird, directed by Andrea Arnold.
And he said, please.
He said, fuck you, Gladiator 2, and went and made Bird instead, which is just like, that's not a movie stunt, that's a career stunt.
Yeah.
And he pulled it off, because he's amazing in that movie.
Yeah.
And that movie is amazing. Check out Bird if you haven't. We'll talk more about that in a later episode. Anyway, but those are the stunts.
That was the best stunts.
Yeah.
Now, we separate actors and actresses, even though
we didn't do the first year, but then we just wanted to put more nominations in.
Exactly. We decided to highlight. This doesn't mean that any one gender is better than the other, obviously. It's just it's not like it's not even fair to pit them against each other.
No.
It's just so we can separate it a little bit and like give more people awards, I guess.
What we don't do is separate supporting and lead actor.
No, we're just doing actor
best
or actress
performance.
In this case.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Best actress, and the nominees are. Excuse if I mispronounce any names here. Willa Fitzgerald for Strange Darling.
Yeah. I mean, we
haven't
haven't discussed that movie yet, so we'll keep it vague.
Yeah, but like, do we need to say anything? Like, come on.
No, if you've seen that movie, you know what we're talking about.
You know what I mean. Honestly, all of our nominations, if you question any of it, watch the movie first. Then you may comment. Second nominee for Best Actress is Kaylee Spaney. I think that's how you say it. I'm not entirely sure. For Civil War. For being a young actress with so many big actors and in such a tense setting of a movie. And just killing it. Nominee number 3 is Demi Moore for The Substance. And again, hello.
Yeah.
Do I need to explain it?
such a powerful performance.
Such a comeback.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Perfect casting.
Yes.
In the best way possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
How bad that might sound if you actually know what the movie is.
That's why I put that in the best way possible.
Yeah. Nominee number 4 is Jodie Comer
for The Bike Riders. Yeah.
From The Bike Riders, yeah.
A movie
that we
that's
praised intensely when we
first saw it.
Yeah.
But I kind of forgot about it because it's one of those movies that, while I really liked it, it's just it could almost go on the disappointments list, but it wasn't that disappointing.
It wasn't disappointing. It's just it kind of disappeared in the buzz of all the other movies that we've seen throughout the year.
Still a great movie though.
Yeah.
Great performances, but you had that one fucking powerhouse performance, and it was Jodie Comer. Oh my god, she was so good. Anyway.
And then last but not least, for Best Actress, nominee number 5 is Margaret Qualley for The Substance.
Yeah.
Again, the chemistry between them, even though they weren't actually on set together
that much,
or like in scenes together that much, she pulled off being a younger, more arrogant Demi Moore in such a good way without like actually being Demi Moore.
And also, I think why they both need to be nominated, because that's I think it's where the Academy fucked up by not nominating them both, is that they not just that the characters informed each other and their performance informed each other, it's the fact that they, like, behind the scenes pushed each other to be better.
Yeah.
I mean, Demi Moore had never done like full frontal nudity before. Even though she's considered a sex symbol in the 90s, and it was more it was more of course I'll do nudity in the 90s because it's the 90s.
Yeah.
But then to do it, then she wasn't really going to do it at first. I'm not saying you have to, but I'm just that's what they talk about, But Margaret Qualley, who was just like, fuck yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
When Demi Moore saw that, she was like, she like didn't, not like she felt like pushed to do it, but she wanted to do it because she saw how confident,
empowered to
exactly.
do it.
So if she can do it, of course I can do it. So they, and I mean, the movie's better for it.
Yeah, and also one thing that is kind of strange with the Academy nomination is that they actually both played the main character, because technically they play the same character.
They should almost be nominated together.
Yeah,
in a weird way.
You have to separate their performances still, because there are two different people in real life.
Yes.
But yes, it's kind of weird to not nominate both, because they both portrayed the same character in different ways perfectly.
Yeah. So, fuck you, the Academy, once again.
Next up
is Best Actor.
Take it away.
Yes, and there we have Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. Well, obviously, I was going to say, one of the best performances of last year. Obviously, yeah. Josh Hartnett for Trap. Probably the best performance that M. Night Shyamalan has done in the last 10 years. He just got Shyamalan's style so well.
Them two together, obviously.
I want to see them do movies together. Yeah. And then Nicolas Cage back again. This time though not for Dracula, but instead for Dream Scenario.
Yes.
Another movie that was kind of a disappointment.
It was a disappointment for us.
But he was so good in it.
Yes.
Some people are saying it's his best performance in like the last 10 years. I disagree with that. That's still Pig.
True.
But other than that, this was one of his best performances, I mean, in his career, I would say. The number 4 is Glenn Powell. Not for Hitman, but for Twisters.
Yes.
And I'll say that was your choice.
Yeah, we needed to add a couple extra. But I picked him because
I kind of agree.
He, not only for this part, to be honest, he's done a great year in 2024,
which we will talk about, you know.
We'll talk about that. But in Twisters, his character has a great arc, and he portrays that very well.
Yes, and if you're gonna like
he manages to be the douchebag and the sweetheart at the same time somehow.
Yes, and I don't want to minimize his acting ability, but I want to say a lot of his thing is his charm. It's his irreverent charm as a person.
Yeah, but there are other actors that have the same thing, but I feel like he has the ability to utilize it in different ways. Yes.
Which you saw in Hitman, you saw it in Anyone But You, and you saw it in Twisters. They're all different characters, but they're all distinctly Glenn Powell as well.
Exactly.
Which
I just picked Twisters because I preferred that movie. I could have picked any of them, to be honest.
Yes, but I was going to say also, his charm, however, is on full display in Twisters. Yes. Unlike the other performances he did. I mean, there are there as well, but wow. I mean,
it gets to shine.
That cowboy hat.
Damn.
Anyway, and
last but
definitely not least, Kyle Gallner as the demon in Strange Darling.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, we talked about it shortly. Recently.
Again, him in general.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Last year he was nominated for The Passenger.
Yeah, he's one of those actors that have been snubbed in Hollywood.
Yeah, in Hollywood in general, yeah. But like we said,
we want to highlight him for being someone that we've both liked for a long time as an actor.
Yeah, we talked about that when we did our top 10 lists.
Yeah.
It dawned on us that we've been fans almost our entire lives. Yeah.
Basically.
And here he is. We realize now in the last few years that he has really found his niche. He found his place as an actor, and he's so good in these roles. And Strange Darling just once again highlights that he is so good.
He gets to there's not just one thing. He gets to do so many things.
Oh yeah,
he gets to try his little acting shoes out.
He gets to fly, you know. Anyway, that's the Best Actor nominations.
Yes, we're coming up towards the more exciting ones, but we have one of the classics. We have Best Screenplay.
Yes.
And the first nominee is Yuji Sakamoto
Yes.
for Monster.
Yes.
For being a heart-wrenching, deep, actual life movie. Or script, I suppose. Like you said in the best movie discussion.
Top 10 discussion, yeah. It has all of life in it.
It has all of life in it, yes. In the best way.
In the best way, not in the Titanic way.
Exactly. Second nominee for best screenplay is Cord Jefferson for American Fiction.
We recently talked about it. It like we said, it lives and dies by the script. That script is so fucking well written. It is insane.
Yeah. Watch the episode.
Yeah.
Nominee number 3 for best screenplay is David Hemmingson for The Holdovers.
Yeah, and I would say the big thing in that one is how the chemistry between the characters. I mean, obviously that has a lot to do with the actors, but I think already on
but the
paper,
way he wrote the characters to be able to act that out.
Yeah, and how their three very distinct arcs come together and work so well as narrative. It's perfect.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Nominee number 4 is Adam Raymer?
Raymeyer. Yeah. For
Snack Shack.
Which is probably one of the best coming of age movies I've ever seen.
Especially in the last 10 years at least.
Yeah, because it has that. It's almost like I don't know, like almost too subtle. I mean, it almost feels like almost feels like an early 2000s sex comedy and American Pie.
Yes,
but there are all these little details,
dumb raunchy stuff.
Exactly, and all these little details shoved in everywhere. It's that makes you it's not just laugh out loud funny. It's just
there's some depth to it.
Yeah, and then the third act is just wow,
fantastic.
Yeah.
The twist. And last but not least, for best screenplay, nominee number 5 is Peter
Strawn
and Robert Harris for Conclave.
Yeah. It's the movie where grumpy old men sit down and talk about God, and it is breathtaking. The dialogue is insane.
It is fascinating how they managed to make 100 old men sitting in a room quietly so intense.
Yes. And I think a lot of it boils down to the dialogue. It is so it's like a good discussion, listening to a good podcast. You're just intensely listening.
It's the unspoken dialogue as well, because in those quiet moments is when you actually start thinking about all the words that they've said just before this, all the thoughts going on in all of these characters' heads, trying to make the right decision here.
Yeah, you gotta read between the lines.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And then we have a few really good speeches.
Yeah.
About the movie, to be honest.
Yeah. And then we have best...
That was best screenplay, so yeah.
Then we have best director. Which kind of goes
also a classic nomination, to be honest.
And it goes kind of hand in hand with the screenplay. Like you mentioned, the unspoken parts of Conclave with the actual spoken parts. I mean, I would say that's directing and writing come together. So that's why we
even thinking of the idea of writing that
that too
sets it apart.
There we have
best
director. First and foremost, Francis Ford Coppola for Megalopolis. On a
we said it in the episode.
Yeah, I'll say this on a technical level. Yeah, there are definite flaws with that movie, but just him. Single-handedly managing to wrestle all this fucking monstrosity that is Megalopolis together is a feat in and of itself, and that's why he's nominated.
Yes.
And also the movie's fucking amazing. If you don't like it, you're wrong. I'm sorry. People misunderstood that movie.
Watch the episode on it because you did not watch the movie properly.
Second nomination is J.T. Molnar for Strange Darling. Once again, for directing 2 of the best performances of the year, writing one of the most scintillating, funny / horrific scripts of the year.
Yes.
Even though he's not nominated, he did all that, put that together. That's why he's nominated for director. And just amazing visuals, and the fact that he put all his money on the line to shoot it on actual film. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that too.
That's why he's nominated. Third nomination is Denis Villeneuve for Dune Chapter 2. everything about the movie has already been said. Like we don't have to say anything other than what a step up from the first chapter.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
I mean, the quality of directing is still the same.
Yes.
He is kicking it out of the park still. Like, there's no...
Oh, yeah,
that.
no, it's better this time, I would say, even. That's why he's nominated.
I mean, he has more to direct.
That too.
That is the thing. That's the difference, I guess.
And then, number 4 is Coralie Fargeon, whatever, for The Substance. For all the reasons we already mentioned, because we've already talked about that so many times. It's bold, it's intense, it's fucking disgusting, it's funny.
In your face.
Literally in your face. Even a little too much sometimes for you.
Yes.
She just goes all the way with the body horror, but manages to, like, say something with it as well.
Yes.
And then, number 5 is Alex Garland for Civil War, for daring to not be political with such a political movie, if you will. One of the... We mentioned this when we did our top 10 list. Probably one of the more misunderstood directors in the last few years. He got a lot of praise a few years ago, but then in the last few years, people just don't get him, and I don't get why they don't. Get why they don't get him.
Exactly.
Civil War just proves again that he is one of the best directors working right now, and I'm sad that this is probably his last directing job he's gonna do.
Let's hope our nomination and praise might bring him more joy and continue. Oh, I don't know what I'm saying. You know what I mean, though.
Yeah, him being nominated, maybe winning, who knows, might spur him on to direct more. Yes. We'll talk to him. We'll talk to him.
Of course.
Now we're into the genre.
The normal. That used to be normal nominations. I don't know if they do all of these anymore in most
they've
award shows.
They never really did it for Oscars, but they've always done it for Golden Globes.
Yeah, but do they still do that?
I think they do.
Okay, cool.
But no. They don't. They only have best movie and best musical or comedy. They don't have best action, best horror, best drama.
That's what I'm saying. We're doing all the genres.
We always do all the genres.
And we're starting off with best comedy.
Yes.
And nominee number 1 is Beetlejuice. The sequel to Beetlejuice.
Which we mentioned that it has no right being as funny and as good as it is. But it is.
It's somehow tickling the funny bone perfectly.
Yes.
And I don't understand how. Nominee number 2 is Snack Shack.
Yes.
Snack Shack. Jesus.
Yeah. Once again, for being pitch perfect coming of age movie, especially for...
Yes.
I mean, they're older than me, but it's in the 90s. I kind of grew up in the 90s / early 2000s. And it's just like, so good. So fun.
It hits that, like you said, it hits that raunchy comedy thing without being stupidly raunchy.
Without being gross. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Without being stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. Nominee number 3 is Anora.
Which is a movie. Have you seen it?
You're gonna have to explain this for me, 'cause I haven't seen
exactly.
it.
It's one of the few ones you haven't.
Yet.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't peg it as a comedy.
No, but that's kind of where I don't think it should be a comedy. No, because it deals with pretty dark subject matters. I could go more into that. Maybe we'll do that in some episode later on. But I don't think we'll ever do a full episode on the movie. I mean, it deals with prostitution and sex work, but as what's his name? Who's the director?
Oh gosh.
Shit, what's his name? I forget. Okay, so we'll do some editing. Sean Baker. He likes to champion sex workers. He likes to show them as they're real people with and all that. And that's great. Problem is he shies away from why they are sex workers. The dark side of sex work, which there is. I'm sorry, people, there is.
Of course.
Because not all sex work is OnlyFans. And even look into some OnlyFans stuff and you'll see the dark side of it. Anyway.
That's not good either.
Yeah. It's baffling then, because that I laughed as much as I did, because it is hilarious. To the point where it almost feels like an old like I don't know, 70s, 80s like screwball comedy, almost. Which that's why it's not nominated for best movie. Spoilers, because I don't think it works for that, but. Just the amount of laughs I got out of it. Some of them were like, what the fuck is going on, laughs? But still, I laughed constantly for 2 hours. Maybe for the wrong reasons. I don't know.
Hell. If you laugh, it's a comedy. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter what you try to do. If that's what people do end up doing, that's how it is, I guess.
Yeah. It's really funny, though. It is. Yeah. Even if you're like scratching your head going, what's going on at the same time. Anyway, sorry for dragging that out. Number 4, then the 4th nomination is Anyone But You. Once again, Glenn Powell.
Bringing back
classic
the
rom-com
classic style of like the 90s, early 2000s. I've seen people hate on it, by the way, and I do not understand. I think they're overanalyzing.
I get it, though.
And like trying to find a deeper meaning to it. Like, sure, some things are dumb, but like, come on, it's a rom-com. What the hell do you expect?
Yes, that's what you have to understand about the movie.
You have to walk into it knowing it's a rom-com. It's supposed to be cheesy and sleazy and kind of schmeary and like lovey-dovey at some point. Also, you know, it has to be a 2020 plus like comedy in a sense, so you have to throw in some of that kind of comedy. You can't expect the 90s comedy.
No, yeah, exactly.
You know, it's the perfect amalgamation of the 90s and the current years, so to speak.
And it's hilarious.
I think I laughed nonstop, more or less.
And then for number 5, we have another Glenn Powell movie. It's Hitman, which once again shows the verisimilitude, I think you can say, of Glenn Powell's acting, because he's literally like 6 different characters in this movie,
at least,
or one character playing 6 different characters.
Yes.
Verisimilitude. Just if I use the word the right way.
Versatile was the word I was thinking of. But
yeah, being versatile means you are verisimilitude. No, that's not true. It's the quality of appearing to be true or real.
Well, you meant the versatility?
Versatility, yeah.
Yeah, of his acting, that he gets to be so many different versions of himself or of the main character in this movie.
I tried too hard to be cool.
And the comedic flair that kicks in with all of the differences, or the like stark differences in some cases. And the way he just portrays it. Yeah.
And
spot on.
And here, I think
it hits the mark.
Talking about like how the different moods or the different genres of a noir doesn't work. Like it's very funny, but it's also weirdly dark, and it doesn't really it clashes. Hitman works. It's funny, and then it gets kind of dark in the second half, but it's still funny and it works.
Yes.
So yeah,
it hits the mark.
Yeah, definitely. And then.
Now we have
best.
The next category is one of my favorite categories. One of my favorite categories is the best action.
Yes. Best action.
Nominations for best action without explanation and any order of any kind here is Dune Chapter 2.
Yes. For obvious reasons.
Twisters.
Because it's Twister. Because
it's Twisters. It's action.
Did you see the tornadoes?
Yeah, exactly. Number 3, Furiosa.
Because the only thing that worked in that movie was the action.
Number 4, Twilight of the Warriors, Walden.
We mentioned it before, the knife fight.
Yes.
And that goes on for the entire movie. Yeah.
Yeah. There's so much. And then nomination number 5 is Civil War.
Which I'd say
it's a bit of a outlier, I guess.
But it does counts as an action movie.
Touch on action a lot.
And once again, when the action is there, it's good.
Yeah. Exactly. It's a drama action, I suppose.
Yes. Speaking of drama.
But there is action in it, actually.
Yeah.
And there's no denying it's good.
No. Speaking of drama.
Yes.
Our nominations for best drama is, number 1, The Holdovers. That could almost be in the comedy section also, but it felt more appropriate to put it in the
Yes.
drama. Because it
More
is
dramatic.
very dramatic. Number 2, American Fiction. Also could almost be a comedy movie, but
True,
I mean, we kind of wanted to separate them, you know?
Yes.
Number 3, Conclave. Because once again,
it is nothing but drama.
yeah, an old man sitting down talking about God. My God.
Like, side note, that movie at points felt like a teenage girl drama, but in the way they acted against or towards each other.
Grumpy old men can be very petty.
Yes, that's all I have to say about that.
Number 4 is Monster, the Japanese movie.
Yes,
Once again, because that's all of life in it. Literally has all of life in it.
So dramatic sometimes.
Yes. And last but not least, number 5 is Juror Number 2.
Yes.
Which you should have put as number 2 on the list. That would have been funnier, but still. Clint Eastwood.
If we had a thriller, I would have put it in that almost.
It could have been a thriller,
it's
yeah.
so thrilling.
Maybe we'll add that for next year.
But it is dramatic. It is basically just people sitting in a room talking. So
yeah. And the cold and calculated directing of Clint Eastwood works perfect for that kind of stuff. So.
Yes. Perfect.
And then we have...
Now, my actual favorite.
Okay, I was going to say, this is probably our favorite category.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have Best Horror.
Yes.
And number 1, which we should have put at number 3, is Terrifier 3.
For obvious reasons.
For obvious reasons. We've talked about it in the full episode, obviously.
Yeah.
It's
a masterpiece of gore.
It's a masterpiece times 3, I guess, because it's the third one and it just brings it up. It just keeps bringing it up.
It's the best one in the trilogy.
Yeah, that too. Nominee number 2.
Vermine.
Yeah, I was about to say, you wrote the French name.
Well, yeah.
Do we call it Vermine or do we call it Infested?
Vermine, infested, whatever, you know.
Vermin!
Vermin, yeah.
As I always call it.
Yeah, we talked about this. Maybe a little bit giving away the winner. We haven't chosen yet, but
no.
In terms of
technically, we haven't chosen anything.
Like maybe it's not the best movie in the horror list, but in terms of sheer horror,
the actual horror, yeah,
it might be the scariest movie I've ever seen, ever.
Yes, that doesn't mean it's the best horror movie. It's just the scariest movie. So we'll see. We'll see who wins.
It's a strong...
that was nomination number 2. Nomination number 3, Strange Darling.
Yeah. I mean, spoiler for the next category.
Terrifying.
it's nominated for best movie, you know, for a reason.
But it is also terrifying when you think of what's happening in the movie and the situation both of them are put in, really.
Yeah, it's terrifying. Like, at first it's terrifying for one reason. Later on it's terrifying for another reason, which is so weird.
And somehow the combination of it, just like, I was scared. I wasn't scared, but I was terrified.
Yeah. Hey.
I don't know.
Have we used the word masterpiece enough? I think we said it a lot when we talked about that movie.
That is true. Nomination number 4, The First Omen.
Yes.
Yes.
Mainly because the fact that it's a prequel to a 40-year-old, 45-year-old horror movie, classic horror movie like The Omen, and it managed to hold its own and be genuinely terrifying.
In more than one way, because it's like what you see on screen. Obviously, it's just scary.
Yeah.
And but like considering what she's going through and what the church, is doing. Like the impact such a power, the power such a thing has as the church is just so scary.
Yes.
The implications.
Yes, we like implications. Yeah.
Yes. And best horror nominee number 5.
The Substance. Sorry.
That's good. It's good. We've gushed over that movie already.
Yeah.
So like, there, you know why we like it. You know why it's nominated. Like, there's no denying it.
The gore, the excess, the fucking the like hysterical like panic the movie induces. It is,
and actually the horrors of kind of growing old, which
or the horrors of addiction, like lots of horrors.
There's lots of horror. Yeah, it's just in it handled it so well.
Yes, fucking amazing.
Yes. Now. Do the honors, please.
The big one.
Yes.
It's the actual best movie of the year. Nominations.
Not there yet.
Yeah. So all of these have been nominated before, which usually happens.
Yes.
And we have actually one extra here. We usually stick to 5 nominations, but this one has 6 nominations.
I think we've had more in previous years.
Maybe we have. Okay.
It has to do with the quality of film of the year, basically.
Yeah.
If we find enough movies that we actually really, really like, we're not going to shy away from nominating them.
No. For one reason or another.
Yeah.
And also, like, cumulatively...
They deserve a nomination.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to win, so...
No.
It doesn't matter. We can nominate as many as we want as well, because this is our award.
Yeah. So, the first nomination is Civil War.
Yes.
For
all the reasons
we've already mentioned
previously in this episode.
Yeah. Number 2 is Megalopolis. For all the reasons we just mentioned.
Yes, and the full episode.
Exactly. Number 3 is American Fiction. For all the reasons we mentioned previously and in our full episode. Yes. Number 4, Strange Darling. For all the reasons we mentioned in our top 10 episode and everything we talked about here.
Yes. Probably will talk about it in a proper episode in the future.
Yes. Number 5 is Monster, the Japanese one. For all the reasons we've already mentioned. Like the actors, the writing, the directing. Oh my god. And number 6, bit of a bubbler. That's why it's number 6.
Yes.
Twisters. For being, like you mentioned, this year's Top Gun Maverick. Yeah. Probably the most entertaining movie of the year.
Yes.
I mean, I was going to say, we haven't had a lot of good blockbusters lately, but we had Top Gun Maverick a couple of years ago, but it felt like that was like, it stood alone in a year without a lot of blockbusters, and this felt like it brought it back again. Real blockbusters, real spectacle.
Yes.
Why you go to the cinema? And that's why it's one of the best movies of the year. I agree.
And that are the nominations for the Spoiler Awards 2024.
Yeah, 2025.
2025.
The awards are 2025.
I had to think about it.
We have one more category. We have one more special prize, but we'll keep that for the ceremony. But we have
keep that a little secret.
Yeah, but we have one more category where we need your help.
Yes.
It's the People's Choice Award. Where you all who listen to this get to vote. All our patrons, if you're on Patreon, your votes count more. They just do.
Yes.
So patreon.com/domagazine. We'll also...
I think we actually made it Patreon exclusive last year.
We might have.
We're going to open it up to the rest of the public this
year. We put People's Choice out on all the other social media platforms, but the Patreon choices counted higher. That was the thing.
Maybe that was the thing, yeah.
Same thing this year. You get to vote on these 6 movies that we have here: Civil War, Megalopolis, American Fiction, Strange Darling, Monster, and Twisters. And we're gonna have this as a clip on YouTube. We're gonna put it out as a short on YouTube somehow. You can see it on Instagram at the Spoilercast, at the _ Spoilercast.
I'm not entirely sure, but links are everywhere. So
exactly.
Whatever.
Same thing on Twitter, X, whatever. It's at the Spoilercast.
We'll have a poll.
Yeah, we'll have polls. I'll put out a community poll on YouTube. Anywhere you want to vote for one of these movies, or you can put in. We have other as well, where you can put in your own nomination.
Yes.
And the movie with most votes gets the People's Choice Award.
Well, I guess we'll count like upvotes and likes on the comment if there's another.
Sure, we'll tally...
Because you have to put your other in a comment so we know which one you're meaning, obviously.
Yeah.
Because not every platform will allow you to write as another. You need to put it in the comments.
Yes.
And then we'll count likes or upvotes on that
We'll tally everything we can, and in the end, we'll nominate one of the... or one of these movies or another. Present the winner. That you, the people, get to choose. Yeah.
Because we, unlike other... award shows.
We care about
want the voice of the people. Yeah. We count you guys.
You matter.
You matter to us. And I mean, if you want your vote to count extra, why don't you become a patron?
Yeah, and you don't even have to go in for like the $3 tier or whatever. Even like the free tier counts. But hey, if you want to go
for
in,
the votes at least.
if you want to go in for $1 or $3, you know, get an extra episode,
get more stuff
every
for
week. Yeah. Anyway, that's it for the Spoiler Award nominees for 2025. The show will, I don't know, when are the Oscars?
Oh, March 2nd.
March 2nd. What date?
March 2nd.
March 2nd.
It's a Sunday.
Oh, well, how perfect. We'll do our awards, spoiler awards on March the 1st then.
Yes!
Fuck you, Academy!
So, if you don't want to stay up all night watching the Oscars, you'll have our episode already out by then.
Yeah, 6 o'clock, Swedish time. Yeah. So, keep a lookout for that.
Yes.
March 1st, so a little over a month.
Yeah. So, you'll have some time to vote for the People's Choice.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll put that up as soon as we can.
As soon as we can. Tonight or tomorrow. It'll be up.
On all platforms.
Yes. But that's it. We are going to talk about the Oscar nominations because we have to. But I think we're going to do that as a separate thing for Patreon because this has been going on for a while now.
Yes.
And we need something
have
for
a
Patreon.
tendency to make it long when you don't want it to be long.
Yeah. So if you for some reason care about the Oscar nominations, check us out.
Care about our opinions on it.
Exactly. Check us out on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. But other than that, don't forget to like this video, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more. Don't forget to comment. What was your favorite movie in all the categories? Either from the ones we chose or
completely?
Yeah, exactly. Did we miss something that you thought was better? And of course, don't forget to vote on the People's Choice.
Yes.
Easiest will be to just do it in the comments here right away. But we'll get the other stuff up as fast as possible.
Yes.
But that's it. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week. But until then, have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
The Spoilercast is part of Please Don't Make a Scene. It's produced and hosted by Tobias Vedén. Co-host is Rebecca Vedén. Executive producer is Annika Vedén. I also want to give a shout out to all our patrons over patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. CK85, Christopher Bylén, Daniel Gaiso, Annika Vedén, Jacob, Mom and Mac, and Laura Kinney.